episode 618 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Tonight, gonna be talking all about the go-home episode of AEW Dynamite before this Saturday's AEW All-Out pay-per-view, featuring a shocking contract signing for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship between champion Swerve Strickland and challenger Hangman Adam Page. Plus, we'll be talking about the first round match in the first ever WWE Speed Women's Tournament, and going to be talking some pro wrestling news as well. All of that right here, right now, 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hello, wrestling fanatics. Welcome to 360 Wrestling Fanatic. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. Time to talk about AEW Dynamite. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight on this Wednesday night. I am Lance Brock. And episode 618 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Like I said, I am going to keep trying to do as many regular episodes of 360 Wrestling Fanatic as much as I can, as I try to get back to the regular schedule, if I ever had a regular schedule, that is. But thanks for the patience, everyone, and stick with me. And on tonight's episode, like I said in that little preview there, going to be talking all about tonight's AEW Dynamite, which was live on TBS. The go-home episode before this Saturday night's AEW All-Out pay-per-view. But first, today, I guess you could say it was history. WWE Speed on X, the first round matchup in the first ever women's speed tournament. We saw Io Sky defeat Lyra Valkyria to advance. And her next opponent in the tournament will be the winner of next week's match, which will be Naomi taking on Blair Davenport. I know we are only one match into the women's speed tournament, but so far I have a good feeling about it. This was a pretty good match between Io and Lyra today, I should say, not tonight, but once again, Corey Graves still calling the action. And like I've said on the podcast before, I think he does a great job. Shades of Joey Styles calling the matches solo. But I definitely look forward to this season of Speed Women's. And after watching today's first episode of the Women's Speed Tournament, it got me to thinking. Of course, these are only 3-minute time limit matches, but would it work also with possibly a triple threat version or tag team version. Who knows if maybe WWE eventually wants to experiment with different ideas for Speed. We could possibly see one of, or maybe both of those in the future for WWE Speed. And now on over to TBS for AEW Dynamite, the final Dynamite go-home episode before All Out this Saturday. And we start things off with Daniel Garcia. He rushes right to the ring and calls out his opponent for this Saturday, MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Garcia says he doesn't want to wait until All Out. He wants to break MJF's neck tonight. And then we hear from MJF, who is singing "Oh Danny Boy" from the crowd. And he says he doesn't want to ruin their big match on Saturday by whipping his you-know-what. Remember, this is a podcast for ears of all ages, so that means no language like that. And he says it would deal in great pleasure in doing that, but doesn't want any excuses made when he paints the canvas in blood and breaks his pencil neck. And then eventually Daniel Garcia ends up bleeding by the hands of MJF. And he says he will send Garcia straight to paradise. And for that, he can thank me later. The rest of Dynamite tonight, we had a match for the AEW Continental Championship. The champion Kazuchika Okada defeating Kyle Fletcher. 19 minutes, 25 seconds. Very good opening match with these two talented superstars in the ring. Especially Okada and Kyle Fletcher as well. Impressed me very much in this one. He really kept up with Okada. But like I said, Okada retaining the championship, defeating Fletcher in this opening match. Very good match though. Definitely recommend this one if you missed it for some reason. Next up, women's action. Jamie Hayter defeats Robin Renegade. 2 minutes, 26 seconds. The AEW Women's World Championship was on the line. Glamour Mariah May defeated the native beast Nyla Rose. 10 minutes, 28 seconds to retain. In the main event of, at least the final match of tonight's Dynamite, we have a trios match. Pac, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta, the AEW World Trios champions, by the way, defeat the team of Will Ospreay, Kyle O'Reilly, and freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. 19 minutes, 1 second. Very good main event. Very, very good trios match. Also, the AEW World Champion Bryan Danielson was on commentary for this match. And this ends in Jack Perry coming down, Bryan Danielson pretty much ending in chaos. And in the back, we see Pac attacking Will Ospreay as they will face off for the AEW International Championship this Saturday at All Out. And just a second here. And next up, the final segment of tonight's Dynamite, which is supposed to be the contract signing for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship match this Saturday at All Out. In the ring, we have Tony Schiavone, Swerve Strickland, or not World Heavyweight Championship match. Sorry about that. Let me start over. The contract signing for the Steel Cage match this Saturday at All Out. In the ring, we have Tony Schiavone in the ring with Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana. But nowhere to be seen is Hangman Adam Page. And then we see on the screen Hangman, and we see him on the screen where earlier today AEW posted a video of Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana where he purchased his childhood home, and Hangman eventually sets the house on fire. And even though this match only had just a 2-week build between All In and All Out, I think that WWE or AEW did a very good job of building to this Saturday's All In. To be honest, I am definitely looking forward to it. And as I said, sometime this weekend, not sure when exactly as of right now, but I do plan to have a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic talking all about this Saturday's AEW All Out. And before I wrap up this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, and this Monday we noticed a sudden disappearance from Odyssey Jones, who was recently brought up to the main roster and placed on Raw with the New Day, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods. And then Monday, it was, or was it maybe even Sunday, it was discovered that he was removed from the roster page on WWE.com. And on Raw Monday, he was not on the show, wasn't even mentioned, not brought up at all. So that was kind of a mystery, and now more has came out that about domestic violence, allegedly anyway. So not too sure about that just yet, but I'm sure more will come out. And Kevin Kelly, former commentator for WWE, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and most recently AEW, files a lawsuit against AEW for breach of contract, and also Ian Riccaboni as well, I believe, having to do with AEW letting him go a little while back, and also Dalton Castle's The Boys are also filing lawsuit against AEW. Unfortunately, and see something here about Parker Bordeaux, could never say that right, but defeated Moose in an arm wrestling match at Black Label Pro. And also, I forgot to mention this during the Dynamite recap, but we did hear from Jon Moxley and a video package on Deonna Purrazzo. She will be taking on Hikaru Shida this Friday night on a special episode of Collision, since All Out is on this Saturday. And that is all for the news and episode 618 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Once again, everyone, I just want to say thank you for tuning in tonight. You can go to the comment section right now and leave your thoughts and your opinions on tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. Also, your predictions for this Saturday's All Out. And I know I don't mention this enough as I should, but don't forget to subscribe right here on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Castbox, or wherever you can find your podcasts pretty much. Also YouTube as well, if I didn't mention that. But subscribe, click the like button, share, and follow on X at 360 Wrestling Pod. I've been slacking off a little bit, but sometimes I like to post polls on there. So if you're not already following at 360 Wrestling Pod, go there and vote on the polls. I will be back tomorrow for the Thursday episode of 360 Good Morning Wrestling Fans. And I hope everyone listening right now will join me tomorrow morning. But until then, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.